Hello and welcome back to Claire's corner of Calm-ity, where, I can't remember which way around it is, but craft, calm and calamity meet. So I have got a finish to share with you. Yes, I know it's only June. Yes, I know it's Santa. It was just the first one I grabbed when I was going to my sewing group a few weeks ago and had no stitch-based project to do. So through my phone, it looks fabulous. This was another one of my vintage hauls. I think it was my first vintage bundle, part of my first vintage bundle, where I bought 5 diamond art paintings. One was Inside Out, which was the first one that I did. Then this one, there's a Wicked one, a Nightmare Before Christmas one, and there's the Calamity. So it wasn't a chosen thing to do Christmas in June, but I have now got a diamond art painting to put up at Christmas. So did I enjoy it? Yes. Yes. When I started doing this, I started in the top right because my mum told me when you're colouring in, you start in the top right and you work your way across, no, top left, sorry. I have an excuse for this. As a maths teacher teaching a class of kids, my right was their left, and so it's just, that's my excuse and I'm sticking to it. So starting in the top left, working across the right and down so that you didn't smudge your work. So it makes sense to do that for diamond art painting too. So I started up here and I had an absolute nightmare. This was on the Friday night where we'd done the kitting up. I say we because my friends at my sewing group helped me, which was wonderful. Thank you, Becky, Lynn and Jules, in no particular order. I think that was how they were sitting next to me around the table. Anyway, digressing already. So I was doing these sort of fairly brown colours, and oh my goodness, picking them up with the pen was an absolute nightmare. I just couldn't seem to get any of them without like loads of effort and having to stock up in more wax all the time. And it took me until I got up to about over here before I realised why I think that is. I was thinking it was me. I was thinking I wasn't putting enough wax in the pen. Was it the pen? And then eventually, just one evening, I was working. I don't think you're going to be able to see it here, but we'll give it a go. I'm going to buy my son a like a magnifying microscope thing. But one evening, I was sitting there thinking, those drills don't look particularly well formed. And I think what's happened, yeah, you can't see it there at all. I think what's happened is that the drills aren't actually particularly well produced, and therefore they didn't have like the right doming on top, that it just meant they were an absolute pain in the backside to pick up with the wax pen, and I was forever having to put more wax in, and then it was squishing out the sides because it was too much, and that was probably one of the worst things about doing this. The glue's super sticky, still is. I've got a really wide bit of it on this side here and like barely any on this side at all, so I'm probably just going to get masking tape out again to do that. The other thing I didn't like was down in this area here especially, but also in Santa's face, which will make more sense in a minute, is the number of J, which was, I've started using Gems Flow as well. According to Gems Flow it's a dark blue, but I cannot see anything other than black in that colour there. So this whole patch down here, there's like 300 blacks because I did get that geeky and start counting because I always count. So there was a lot of J, and actually I did ask on one of the many new diamond painting obsessed type groups that I'm in whether I should trust the process and stick with it or whether I should try and change it, because actually what was under here was a lot of red, and as you can see there are reds available. So there are red drills within the artwork that there was no need for it all to be black. So I trusted the process, and from a distance it's actually pretty impressive. Like I love the fact that even under his eyes you've got that like bagging under his eyes. What's so hard to do about trusting the process is if I bring that up closer, and I have got a different video trying to show this, like it just looks ridiculous like that. So when you're doing it, it just looks stupid. That's apparently what the image looks like, which I think from a distance we can all agree it does. I love the way the lights have come out, and again this was the other thing that really annoyed me. There's plenty of really light coloured drills. Why has he got such a blue and grey beard? This is Santa, people. It kind of makes sense with the shadowing, but when you're working on it up close, it's really quite irritating. But from a distance, I concede that it does look pretty good. I thought this was supposed to be his hand holding his, like the sack over his shoulder. Now it looks like it's just a star. I don't know whether that's a brooch he's wearing. Anyway, that's also slightly irritating, as is this now that I'm looking at it more, because is that supposed to be even more beard? I don't know, whatever. This is what you get from buying cheap off Vinted, which was probably bought cheaper from Temu in the first place. So anywho, what I did love, if you're a diamond painter you will appreciate this muchly, is that the numbers matched. However, I've literally, while putting my son to bed, seen a post in another group about like who on God's green earth decided that B's and 8s should go next to each other. I had a big problem with the 8s and the 6s, and what was the other one, the 5s and the S's, which like they were next to each other. It was like this sort of colour, the orangey sort of colours. So they were so similar in colour, as well as looking really similar on the original. I'm not 100% happy with it. I've decided today that at some point I'm going to get 2 of exactly the same canvas, do 1 trusting the process and 1 according to what I think it should be with the colours of the drills. Like again, through the phone it looks quite good, but this one drill there keeps jumping out at me and really frustrating me. What else have I done with this one? So I am being quite consistent in terms of how I place. I'm very definitely a single placer. I cannot get to grips yet with multi-placing, even though I was only trying 2 or 3. Again, that's possibly partly because of the flaw that I think there is within the drills. So as yet, multi-placing has evaded me, which was a bit annoying for down here with all of that black. I started with like literally counting 20 by 20 squares across, and then I just go across, and then I go down, and then like a zigzag, and I just do it all different ways. But that's part of the fun, right? Like I'm kind of enjoying experimenting with that. What else was I going to share there? Don't know. Trash drills. I started saving my trash drills because my questions are starting to get answered. And aside from the teeny tiny ones, oh sorry, wobbling you there, here, and an even cuter one here. Can you see that? It's like weenie. My favourite had to be this one. Like, what on earth? Probably have to put that down and do this whole thing. What on earth happened to that drill? Like, it's not even trying to be drill shaped, is it? I don't know how well that's focusing because I'm now getting too old to be this close to my screen. So yeah, that was my favourite like weird drill. The rest, to be honest, I only really took out because things like this where they, again, I don't know if you can see, it's kind of got like, I'm calling it a halo. Oops, there's a drill lost forever in my garden. The halo ones, just because of how I choose to place, they were just getting annoying because obviously if you've got too many of those that are too big next to each other, it just affects everything else. The other thing that I have done newly on this one is use my scraper, spacer, reminds me of a wallpaper scraper, so in my head it's a scraper. I have since completing the whole thing. I've got my old-fashioned rolling pin out and rolled it. First time I tried doing that with just this, actually, the side of this laying down, I started having drills popping all over the place, so I now understand what popping drills means. But yeah, so I've gone horizontally for every single space. There's 125 drills in that direction, just in case you're interested. I don't know if it's because it was too gluey or because that would happen anyway, but by the time I got to even about here, it was like really bunching up the glue, and actually even as I now put my hand on it I can feel the sticky, so I'm not sure actually that was my wisest idea. I've not yet gone vertically. I don't know if I will, because I feel like actually spacing wise is kind of evened out quite nicely just by doing the horizontal, even though there's some glitches up over here that we're ignoring. So yes, this one is done. I will work out how many drills and put the maths on screen for you, because I'm not doing 125 times 89 in my head. I'm not a mental calculator. Anything else to say? No, I love Santa stuff. I've now got a ridiculous number of, you see my tootsies poking through there, ridiculous number of Christmas related diamond art paintings on my Vinted favourites, but I think I might have to delete Vinted for next month. Because I've spent rather a lot of money that I did not need to be spending, and now have diamond paintings coming out of my ears. So I am going to do a video someone about the state of my spare room, so you understand why I'm talking about decluttering along with this channel, because I would like to turn my spare room into a craft room. So I need to get more things up on Vinted than I'm currently purchasing. Any tips for getting things to sell? Thank you for coming to join me in my little corner of the internet, and I will see you next time.